Going into game number 2 here with Rats winning that first game against TP. Giving Baus that comfort pick on the Gragas. They don't seem to be making the same mistake here. They actually opened Gragas and Cyan in the last draft. TP are like, well, we can't let Baus get too comfy again, so they're going to ban the Cyan this time. Got the Varus and a Maokai ban going over, and also Rats are playing on the same side of the map again. It's really interesting because in their previous games, Rats have been banning Maokai. Playing Maokai, sorry. Now suddenly he's been banned every single game. Rumble and Varus also been banned. I've got the Braum pick and the Alistair pick. So they must have seen Alistair's Reckless playing Alistair in game number 2 in their previous best of 5 and how important he was for that early game roaming capability. But we are going to see Vi being taken here. Most likely a Vi top. Maybe we've seen Baus play Vi top already in the EMEA Masters series. The Leona being taken from for TP, already locking in one of their aggressive supports. Lena's already had a pretty decent win rate and showing in this competition. Question is what they're going to link that up with. So Viegas, they've got lots of burst, they've got a decent amount of crowd control there already. Got a lot of lockdown target there too. And if Viego is able to get ahead, they're going to have to think about what kind of abilities that he's going to end up taking as well. What do you take here? What is open? Talia is open. That's been quite a contested pick, but we're going to get the Azaya Rakan that we were kind of maybe posturing that they were edging towards in the previous draft. So we are going to see Zaya Rakan being played. Every time that Zaya's been picked, I think Rakan's either been banned or taken away. This is going to be the first time in the Talia. I think Talia is a fantastic option here into this because it's going to potentially stop a lot of the Rakan engages and the Vi's. 60% win rate. I think Talia is maybe potentially slightly underrated and almost forgotten about here. I think that's a real problem for Rats actually. The Talia is going to be huge. Draven ban going forward. I'm expecting probably another 80 carry ban here coming from Rats. What do they not want to see? We already had the Corki and the Ezreal being played. I mean, what would be good against Azaya Rakan? It's a very obnoxious lane to go into. Can't take the Poppy either because that got taken top in the previous game either. There's no more real anti-dashes there for them. They've already locked in the Leona, so I don't know what I'm talking about. So if you're playing 80 carry, you kind of probably want to play a dash away from that. Corki and Ez have already been taken. I think Jinx would be too immobile, and so that Zeri could be an option. The Zeri Leona might not be that great of a lane though, if I'm honest. What other 80 carries that? I mean, yeah, the Caliber Nat is maybe enough to get away. I was going to say also Varus could also be quite good because you could lock down the Rakan, but that's banned away. So yeah, I think Caitlyn is a good answer to that. Enough range to kind of like not lose lane as well super hard early into that. Orianna in the mid lane, you're not going to want to play something with a dash into Talia. The problem is you have already with the Rats team, you're going to want to put Orianna ball on the Rakan or the Vi. But if the Talia rocks little pebbles on the ground, that's going to stop the dashes. That's going to make it very difficult to execute a perfect ulti. But a Nocturne can bypass that. That's even better. If they can do that properly, if they can make sure that the Orianna is still in range of Nocturne if he has the E, that's going to be a much better option to enable an Orianna ult. So that answers the dash issue of that engage potential. Cassante in the top side. We've seen him being a bit annoying in a lot of these games actually. Only a 43% win rate apparently on the Cassante. But he is a really annoying champion to play against. If you're looking at Rat's team composition though, it is very fragile. And if you're playing like the Leona and a Viego into Rat's team comp, I think you're happy with that overall still though. There's enough squishy targets for him to get resets off. Honestly, you're going to need to think of a way to lock down this Viego. Like, all eyes, honestly, on this Viego. He's going to make or break TP's game here. Yeah. It's, yeah. Like, the Viego, like, there's enough squishy. Like, Rakan is, like, not really a proper tank. He's actually, a lot of people think he's a tank, but he's actually quite squishy. He's one of the squishiest support tanks that you can play. So if he gets locked up in like the Talia, if he dash tries and makes a mistake, any mistake with the Talia anti-dash, any chance he gets caught off at all, and then Viego then gets to be the Rakan, and then gets the W engage in, then has his ulti to do another, like 2 flashes for free, giving Viego a lot of mobility. It is a potential scary outcome there in a fight. That Viego 100% needs to be watched. Players going out into field now. We're getting a little cinematic. Yeah, once again, everyone seems to be kind of nervous. We're not gonna get any level 1 invades. I don't think either team's level 1 is particularly fantastic. Zaya's also, it's pretty awful level 1. She's got cleanse this Zaya for the Leona. Makes sense. This Caitlyn is just running the barrier. Also, you got Rakan on heal. I mentioned earlier in the previous game how Reckless likes to have heal. He did run Ignite when he was playing the Rel, which was pretty rare to see him do. This time we got the heal. I think the Caitlyn Leona can hold up against the Xayah Rakan. And I do like TP's team composition into Rats for this one. It does feel like their drafters have been a lot better for this. Also, you're not giving Baus their comfort pick as well, actually choosing to ban the Scion this time. Not expecting a massive amount from either of these bot lane 2v2 in the level 1. Looks like Rats is happy to let this lane push in. Not sure why they're both hiding in the brush. What's this Vi Cassante lane going to be like? I said it time and time again, like Baus's picks at another pause at pretty much the same time. But I mean, on paper, the Vi pick is like question marks topside, but it's Baus, so anything can happen, right? There are more tech issues going into the next game. But yeah, I do prefer TP's team composition. I feel like that Talia pick there was really smart to take. I think if we're planning on taking Xayah Rakan as Rats, you probably should have potentially picked the Talia first. But yeah, also another thing we didn't really touch on as well, you got the Nocturne ulti on one team and then the Talia ulti on the other, so lots of moving parts potentially here in this game. What's happened then? Do we know what's happened? don't think we know what the tech issue is, do we? Does anyone know? You think Baus will look to proxy as soon as he can on Vi? I mean, that's usually what happens on Baus. I'm pretty sure he's analyzing every single game to try and figure out how to do a proxy if he's able to. The man loves a good proxy. But imagine if Rats goes 2-0 in this game. It would be pretty interesting to see what the rest of the series is going to play out like. Because I feel it's TP have basically gone, okay, you can have blue side again. Or maybe they got to choose side. I think TP got to choose side the first time. I think I think Rats lost the coin toss, if I'm correct. So TP got to choose side, so they wanted blue side. They wanted red side, sorry, the first time. So there's a chance the whole series we could just see the Rats on blue side the whole series and TP on red side. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that team comp on TP. If they play it, if they get the picks, then it's super scary. There's just so much lockdown for them. I will say though, like, if Viego doesn't get resets in fights, their prolonged damage in fight, the damage overall is not great from TP. They have to get that kill on one in order for the rest of the fight to be able to carry on and play out okay. Pause is caused by TP. If Viego doesn't get a reset, if they catch someone out and they aren't able to kill them quickly, I feel like the TP team comp does fall over a little bit. On the flip side though, on Rats, it's not really like anyone's that tanky there though. It wouldn't be too difficult in theory to get a reset on any one of those members on Rats if they're caught out properly. And it will be interesting to see if the Orianna ulti works out on the Nocturne. I've definitely seen a couple of clips in the Korean League where it was LCK where the timing, the wind up on the Orianna ulti is just winding up as Nocturne is flying through the air, and as the Nocturne connects, the Orianna ulti goes off. I mean, these players are good enough caliber in order to make that work. I mean, most of the work there needs to be on Nemesis on the timing, and I'm sure he's capable of doing that. You could see some very sick engages with that, because that completely bypasses the fact that the Talia putting the rocks down. But the thing that the other potential issue you have with that though is that they commit to that kind of engage. Talia then puts the rocks down, quite similar how in the previous game how you saw like the Zyra ulti going down on the ground. If those pebbles go down on the ground, a lot of Rats have to wait because the Vi can't Q through that, Rakan can't E or W through that. The rest is just like relying on just having to run through the rocks in order to catch up. Yeah, there's a lot of damage. There is overall a lot of damage coming from both teams here. Like lots of burst damage. I think the consistent damage from Xayah in particular is probably the thing in fights. Like if you're TP, you're wanting the Viego to pop off. For Rats, you're looking for a good Orianna ulti and a consistent damage from the Xayah. If Xayah is allowed to stay alive in these fights, TP does have too tanky frontline though. If Xayah falls behind, it's the same for her. So it's like Viego and Xayah. Those two players, if they fall behind the gold curve, they're going to be in big trouble because Xayah won't have the damage to get through the tanks that are on her face if they play front to back like that. And if Viego doesn't have the gold, then he's not going to be able to get the resets he needs in those fights. I'm assuming any news. I think ready checks are coming out. We're resuming now. We're about to go back into game. So that's all my theory crafting used up. Yeah, we're going back into game here. Any second, here we go. So that's all my theory crafting. I think I'm fairly happy with my analysis there, and that we need to keep an eye on that Viego and the Xayah. Yeah, I definitely imagine that the bot lane is probably going to be the biggest area of contention. Maybe also TP will try and do something before Nocturne hits 6. Once Nocturne hits 6, it's going to be difficult to potentially guess where Nocturne's going to ulti from unless you get that deep vision in. But you can see for Rats, all lanes are pushed in heavily right now, but there is no jungle invade threat for TP. Nocturne already did all his bot side jungle first. Nothing really to worry about there. Doesn't really matter at the moment that Rats are all pushed in all lanes right now. Vi opting to go in. She's going to take some minion damage there. Leona diving under tower there. Takes a turret shot. In the meantime, Caitlyn's taking a massive amount of damage there. Horrible trade there for TP. Not sure if you're Leona why you would engage onto the Rakan. Feel like you'd have a much better time trying to engage onto the Xayah, get the Caitlyn trap down, and then move on from there. But the invade does come through, so because Nocturne cleared out bot side, our Nocturne has sniffed this out as well. He's going to the opposite KFC camp, the trading KFC. So because all the lanes are pushed in, Viego has priority to kind of go wherever he likes without really much response. Tally's already the first person to use TP. Looks like Oriana's also going to recall here. Camp's being traded there. Viego's going to find out that his chickens are done. Nocturne didn't get greedy for Krug, because otherwise he could have potentially got caught out there. He wouldn't have priority for that anyway. The Vi was pushed in. Rat's going for an early recall on every single lane here right now. So Caitlyn's going to get to recall on a bit more gold. Rakan's looking to interrupt recalls right now. Leona's reset has been interrupted. Meanwhile on top, Baus is seemingly losing his top lane 1v1. He hasn't got TP to get back into this lane quickly either. And he doesn't have symbiotic shoes, so he's not really going to want to recall right now. And level 6 could be a bit of a problem here soon if on the Cassante. Is he going to hit it on that? He is. He does hit 6 from that minion. That's a very big problem for this Vi. Cassante picks up tower early, aggro super early there. Vi forced a flash, but it means that Vi doesn't die. Good play there from Vi in order to force the Cassante to get the tower aggro. Meanwhile, Xayah's already used her E, so that's on cooldown. Cassante now looking to fight the Vi 1v1. Vi forced the ulti. Does look like the Vi's going to be a lot of trouble though. She has no flash. Cassante still has his. Vi's trying to get away. There's no one else topside. Cassante has given up the chase. He's like, if I chase that, then I'm going to lose all of his minions under turret potentially. So Cassante still has that flash available to him. TP started the dragon, but opted to not bother. That's going to buy more time for Nocturne to hit 6. Rakan lands the Q, gets to top up the Xayah. Both players on Rats here in the bot lane at the same level. Leona did get to recall eventually. But she's definitely got XP behind. Caitlyn's going to be 6 first, but Caitlyn level 6 is not really a big deal. Leona being behind on level 6, so it could be the big game changer here though. Dragon being started up again. This time, Rats are going to see it with the control over the wall. Meanwhile, Nocturne is taking grubs. So far, both teams kind of almost mirroring each other on both sides of the map in terms of what they want to do. Nocturne must be getting close to level 6 here. The fact that TP weren't able to find and engage before Nocturne hit 6, Nocturne just hit 6 just now, does lose a little bit of pressure that they had for the first 7 minutes of the game. I think it was a really smart jungle clear as well from Nocturne. Identifying the fact that his bot lane probably wouldn't have lane prior early. But he is going to lose this red buff. Red buff is taken away from both. It's literally mirrored again. Nocturne is also doing red on top. Bot side looking to get dove. Xayah having to flash the Leona flash E. Xayah is now under turret, but she just hit level 6 with the solo XP. And that might just deny the whole engage here. You can't really dive as Xayah with her ulti up under tower there easily at all. It's just going to take too long, and Rakan's dash range could quite easily get him to Xayah quick enough in order to land some crowd control after that. Also, Rakan's also going to be hitting 6 here soon. After like 1 kill maybe the Rakan could hit 6. Nocturne's up top side, posturing around. But they're not looking to want to commit onto that. Nocturne's just going to clear out more jungle. Time wasted here. As we mentioned, big focus is going to be on the Viego and the Xayah. Xayah has no flash now. But she still has her ulti. Yeah, any dive under tower committing against the Xayah Rakan is going to be incredibly difficult if those ultimates are up. The Viego loses a little bit of tempo in his jungle. You see the Nocturnes now they were matched neck and neck, the Viego and the Nocturne, in terms of jungle clearing. I think Viego might be slightly higher level because of XP leeching in bot lane potentially. He's going to get bot lane scuttle though. Yeah, this is very abnormal, isn't it? 0 deaths in a Rats game this early on. No one's died. Even Baus hasn't died yet. Who does this work in favor for though? Might work in favor for Rats if it stays like this. I think their teamfight potential is better. I think they're more likely to be able to survive a burst from Viego. Means that Cassante and their Leona won't be as tanky as well, so yeah, I think at the moment this is playing out in Rats' favour slightly, but I would like to see Rats use the Nocturne ulti, and then we got this potentially being set up here. Nocturne's finding a way into bot lane. Is that minion going to spot out? Engage goes in, Nocturne ulti committed, goes straight under the Caitlyn under tower. Caitlyn's been kind of abandoned. Xayah might have an E. No. There may be a slight bit of miscommunication on target lockdown then. But Caitlyn does use flash. Leona used the ignite. Meanwhile on the top side you got an opposite response here. Oh. Bao's trying to be clever there with the flash, but ends up just losing his flash there essentially for free. That's going to be first blood over to the Viego. So Viego getting first blood is not what you want if you're a Rats fan right now. Bit of a play going onto the mid lane. Orianna still has ulti. Just wondering if that trigger was going to be pulled. I think you could have maybe looked to use the Orianna ulti to get the flash potential out of Talia there. Some deep vision going in there. Is Rakan going to find that ward? No, he doesn't. Meanwhile, Rats are going for a 6 grubs game. Dragon still isn't up for another 30 seconds. Leona's making her way up to top. Rakana isn't quite here yet. It is warded, so TP are aware of this and now getting pressure on bots. There is going to be 6 grubs going over to Rats. Now are they going to be able to respond for the Dragon? Nocturne ulti is still on cooldown. Orianna ulti is available. You don't have Xayah or Rakan ulti either though. Leona and Caitlyn have their ultis up. I think if you're Rats, you're probably just saying, okay, we got grubs, you can have the Dragon. With so many more ults being down for Rats here, it seems a little bit risky to maybe even think about posturing around here. Dragon does go down. That controlled and the pit's going to get cleaned out. Meanwhile on the top side though, Vi's half health against the Cassante. I would love to pan over to that and see what that situation is like. There is a fight going up there. Can we stop following the Rakan Xayah please, cameraman? Vi ended up going down to 20% HP in whatever fight that was there. Looks like the Vi might be going back into the river to get some berries. Yeah, she's healing up from berries. Plate does go over to Cassante. This could be a second plate here though. A lot of extra gold going into Cassante's pockets. Cassante uses his ulti. I think he tried to get her through the wall. If Vi manages to go through the wall there, I think she dies. She has no flash to get out. Meanwhile, we have Viego with that 1 kill coming up to top side. Nocturne does have his ulti back up here. Leona is also posturing. Rakan is still bot. Flash stun attempt here. Missed by the Viego. Viego's under the turret. He is going to die, but he still manages to help take down Baus. That kill does go over to the Cassante though. Nocturne is now looking to try and kill the wave. And does get away from the rest of that. Is Caitlyn going to get answered here for that? Looks like they tried to dive down on Caitlyn there. They took a lot of damage, but no real response here. Xayah getting chunked down. Caitlyn is perfectly healthy. But yeah, a lot of plates did go over the bot. Maybe they were happy to sacrifice some HP there in order to get it. But the miss flash stun there from the Viego does extend this fight out even longer. Does end up being a 1-for-1 trade though. But they did commit 4 people up to this. Orianna was coming up from mid. But overall ends up being an even trade there. 2 kills over to TP, 1 for Rats. If TP can get 1 more kill, then they're gonna put themselves in a good standing here for the Epic Boots quest. Leona being engaged on, she's actually completely alone here. Do they know that? They're still going in on here. Does Rakan have ult? Rakan might have ulti here. Leona's taking even more damage. She doesn't have flash. This might be a free pick here. Orianna, who's going to be... Yeah, Xayah is allowed to have that kill. As we mentioned earlier, the Xayah and the Viego are going to be main kill contenders. That was a beautiful escape there from the Baus fight. Oh, he doesn't quite go over the wall though. Was that intended? He goes over the wall this time. Is he going to be able to recall properly? He does get the recall off properly. Meanwhile, Viego has found Orianna ulti committed, Rakan ulti used. That is going to be an easy pick of 3 kills. And boots completion because they just took the tier 1 bot turret for Rats. So actually, so even though TP actually had slightly better lead on the boots there, in a matter of what, 20-30 seconds, Rats just snap up those 3 boots. There's a 1.5k gold lead all of a sudden. Top turret is likely going to go down here. Vi is going to give that up. Maybe a cannon minion maybe gets lost there. I don't think Vi does manage to get the cannon minion. Leona ulti used, doesn't land the stun. Does allow Orianna to flash away there. Caitlyn getting taken really, really low here. Forced the barrier. Lots of damage just go back onto the Orianna, but the Leona's caught out again. She doesn't have flash. Or Nocturne ulti being used to deny vision. That's going to make it really difficult for TP to know how to follow that up. I think the Nocturne ulti was just used to deny vision for the Talia. So she didn't know where to go. She can't commit to going into the Fog of War there. That's actually a massive counter. The Nocturne ulti massively counters the Talia ult. And this Leona is making quick back-to-back death play mistakes. Meanwhile in the top lane, it does look like... Oh, yeah, he's dead again. It wouldn't be a Rats game without some deaths from Balsi. Bit of a overextension there on top side. That's probably going to give away the Herald over to TP at least. Meanwhile, on bot side, Orion is knocking on tier 2 bot. Xayah and Rakan are shifting over to try and potentially help on that side. I think Rats knows that there's a control in that brush. Yeah, they do. But yeah, that's going to be Herald going over to TP because of the bounce death a little bit earlier on. Dragon is going to be up in 20 seconds though, and this could be a very important dragon. If TP managed to get this third Drake, it's going to give them Cloud Soul potential later onto the game. Big knock up onto the Xayah there. Leona ulti used, but it's way too late and it doesn't connect properly onto anybody there. That is a Leona ulti down now for this next team fight. You're going into a dragon fight here without Leona ult. You might just have to say no to that, even though it has got a low cooldown. Rats needs to do something here now. The Herald is going to delay some momentum here. Tier 1 turret might end up going down if they push into that hard enough. Caitlyn's really off into the back. Nocturne ulti has just been triggered here. Orianna ulti got comboed with that. Big knock up in the middle there. You got 1-2 people in TP. They're really low health. The Leona's going to fall down again. By knocking up the Viego at the back, Viego gets the counter kill and gets the reset and takes the Viper himself. But he just about almost gets away. And that is a massive fight. That was a 4 for 1 for Rats. I want to see the replay on that because that was... Even I was anticipating the Orianna ulti. I couldn't even see the wind up on that. That was ridiculously clean. Watch this Orianna ball on this Nocturne. Look at that wind up. The ulti does connect onto a couple of people there. Big Rakan ulti on top of it. Just a perfect AoE fight there for Rats. And Xayah just being completely untouched. Just free to just bam, 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 bam. Auto on that right hand side. The only person getting away there is the Caitlyn. And she was hanging really far back in that last fight as well. That's a 4k gold lead now for Rats. Viego does have 3 kills. But if you're playing like a burst comp like that, you don't really want to be looking for 5v5s. Nocturne ulti is already back off cooldown again. With that Hextech experiment plate thing, whatever it's called. But no trigger is actually done on that. That's a ridiculously low cooldown on Nocturne ulti. Yeah, if you're Rats, you're super happy with the standing right now. And you also got the dragon. We didn't see... I don't think we saw them take the dragon, but they took the dragon shortly after they killed the 4 people. So TP doesn't even have that dragon win con. I think as soon as they missed the Leona ulti, we were almost just waiting for Rats to do something in response to that. Having no Leona ulti was pretty big. Looks like we are going to get a cinematic for Atikan spawning in mid. Wow, how beautiful is that, guys? That's very cool. Tier 1 mid is going to fall down here. So neither team has tier 1 mid. Gold lead is still massive though. Atikan is on top side. You haven't really got any other objective to do on the map that's easy for Rats. Maybe you're looking at that tier 1 top. Maybe the tier 1 top being up for TP makes it a bit more difficult for Rats to do the Atikan. Looks like Rakan is trying to wait for someone to go up there, but no one is going up for top side for TP. There's a big flank player here looking, but they're just going to do it. Viego's on the opposite side of the map. They're now going to go for tier 2 bot, I believe, as a trade for this Atikan, but I think if you're Rats, you're really happy with this trade. You can even get the tier 1 top there as well. So it ends up being more flowers. It's going to be the 25% XP boost. You're going to be wanting to get that Baron as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, them to TP managing to take the bot lane turret pulls back 1k gold. But the Attican is such a nice buff at this point in the game for Rats. Basically, essentially gives everyone on your team a level, a bunch of extra free adaptive damage. It's going to make every dragon and every baron that you take stronger. Zaya's going quite deep into mid lane though, and there's a few people surrounding her. It's maybe gone too far potentially. There's no one else on side waves to get anything if she does get caught, but she does go back after overextending quite massively for one caster minion. But look at those gold leads between the players. Orianna 1.7k, same with the Xayah up account on their counterpart. Only the jungler difference is quite a big there with the 700 gold. I mean, Viego is the most important champion for TP to get kills, but the deficit's getting quite high. I think TP, though, the main way they need to come back into this game if they want to, which I'm sure they do, is that they need to find some isolated picks here, and I think that's what they're trying to do here with the Talia ulti. They've identified that they can get the Baus here, and he's got 4 people chasing. Is there going to be any response here, though, from Rats? There's 4 people up on top. That Viego goes straight down to half HP from one little bit of burst there, but nothing else really following up there. There isn't really a response here for Rats or Baus being up there. So Baus making another macro mistake. If you're going to be overextending that deep, at least make sure your team's going to get something from it, surely. We're moving into 10 seconds until Dragon is spawning. Baus is dead, but does have TP. I mean, K'Sante's going to end up being in this river here, so they're going to have to lose a TP for this. We're looking for a fight to start while Baus is dead, but he's going to be up any second, and he's already TPing on bot side now. Still quite far away from the fight. He's finding a really good flank avenue though. There's no wards on that side of the map, and we've already got a K'Sante caught out, having to flash at half HP. Vi now looking for a flank angle. Vi still doesn't have her ulti back up now though. Maybe a bit of a mistake to use it at the last play there. Maybe Baus thought he can kill the Viego as he goes down there, but I mean, the K'Sante on half HP forced to flash away. That's going to give Dragon over to Rats, making them get 2 apiece here. A little bit of engage going here on the bot side. We do have 6 scrubs, don't forget, on Rat. So that turret is just absolutely getting melted right now. Demolish stack does hit through. Tier 2 does fall down. Nocturne ulti has been pulled. Orianna half HP. K'Sante no flash. She's going to fall down on the front line. Charmed on the Viego from Rakan. Leona's now trying to engage in as well. Xayah goes to half HP, but her ulti keeps her alive, and that's going to be 2 kills over to TP. What are TP going to do? Are they going to try and find a pick still after all of that? Surely not. Nocturne may have found Caitlyn here, and Caitlyn was kind of anticipating that with the trap, but what is she doing there? Face checking a bush. Flash EW over from the Rakan. It makes that a very easy pick. Caitlyn was even like getting spider sense tinglings there with the trap being put into the brush there, but she still committed over to it. Nocturne getting a tasty little cupcake on his way out. Vi looking for another avenue in here, maybe. The rocks on the ground's going to make it impossible, though, at the moment for Vi to look to going in here. But Vi does have ulti. And flash. Okay. Nemesis has no mana on that Orianna, so they're just calling it. Here we have the replay. The turret does eventually go down, but Nemesis did get engaged in K'Sante. K'Sante didn't have the flash, and Rakan engages at the back, knocks up the Leona, charms the Viego. Viego's forced the ulti out, and then while that's happening, Leona's engaging in, so she gets picked off for free. And then here we have a very sloppy face check here from the Caitlyn. I think you just saw the Viego walk past, and then was like, maybe I can do the same as well, but no. Like Baron Vision is being contested here at the moment. 5k gold lead here now for Rats. It's going to be very, very difficult uphill battle for TP here. They need to find isolated picks, ideally maybe on the Xayah. Meanwhile, Vi's getting caught on here on the bot side. Forced to flash away, but she can get away here now though. She'll probably start denying this wave and then maybe look for a reset. Meanwhile in the mid lane, Leona, was that Leona? No, it wasn't. That was Talia getting engaged on there. Forced to flash away, half HP. Vi is now moving up. She's taking some berries in the river. Lots of berry gameplay tech being used in this series. And she hasn't recalled. She's opted to staying into the lane instead of resetting. Keeps applying pressure on that bot lane wave. It's going to be a blue buff denied there. Blue buff at this stage where the game gives blue buff to your entire team. Once you pass the 25-minute mark. Got Nocturne looking for a reset. This is the kind of confusing thing. You got Nocturne looking for like a reset, so in most normal cases, like the split pusher would then realize that and back off up a little bit. But Vi fully committed into that wave. They are going to get denied a full wave under that tier 3. Baus, unknowingly, if he wanted to carry pushing on, he could have got away with it. He's thinking about it too. He's queued back over the wall. He's going for the turret. He knows that all 5 members of TP are there. They're going to lose that tier 3 bot. Tier 3 bot tower is going to go down. Talia's going to come down to try and help answer that, but I don't know if she can actually deal with the Vi. I feel like Vi can just goof around here potentially a lot, and then the Baron can get called here for rats. That's going to open up the gold lead even further to 6.3k. Viego looking for something there on the flank, but there is just no easy target there. Baus, in the meantime, has forced Talia to Zhonya's and dies for it. I think Vi maybe thought that they could 1v1 the even sacrifice themselves for the greater good underneath the turret, but another bit of an inty death there from Baus. Not getting anything really from that. That is a fully upgraded Zhonya's as well, so that'll be back off cooldown soon. Are they actually going to give up the Baron for that? A Rat's going to try and defend this Baron. This Baron is not dying that fast at all. Viego's actually already on half HP. Talia ulti is blocking them out of the fight, but the Talia just gets picked off for free with the Ori ulti on top of the Nocturne. That Baron is not dying anywhere near fast enough. I think Talia was just trying to buy time for her team to do it, but that Baron was not going to die for at least another 15-20 seconds. And that's going to be a Baron take up for Rats. Meanwhile, Baus TP'd him behind. And dying again. Bruh. But it does distract the whole of TP to go up top side to answer that teleport. And it is going to be Dragon 3 for Rats. I don't think he necessarily needed to do that though in order to get the Dragon secure, but sure, it's something anyway. I'm not sure how much gold the Vi is. 7 deaths on the Vi. In fact, Vi is the only person on Rats, I've only just realized, that has died this whole game. You got deathless entire team apart from Baus. Interesting. Very interesting. Still have 2 minutes left on this Baron buff for Rats. Nemesis could be overstepping here, not knowing that there's a trap here. Spider senses did seem to tingle there. Leona ultied and Nocturne used his ulti to deny vision. But Cassante isn't getting the same memo as everyone else, is going in by himself there. Cassante down on 15% of HP. I think he will be able to get away there, but Leona's now caught up in the fray and she's going to go down. Cassante never actually reset. And our TP are limping. They have no idea what to do. Viego's trying to desperately find one single pick from an isolated, and you can see how much damage he does if he does actually get the opportunity to go into a 1v1 like that. Oriana, those damage on the Viego puts him straight down to 50% HP. Baus is looking for something here. Meanwhile, the call on mid has been made. Got 4 on top as well as Caitlyn instead. She's completely isolated. A bunch of damage there coming from the Orianas. Even the Zaya's chipped in with the QE. Even though she only has 10% HP. Yeah, there's not much that we can do to I think if you're TP, there's not much that they could. I think they're just thinking about the next game now and how they're going to try and do a reverse sweep. I'm not allowed to move my camera over the KitKat ad. It has to be there. So maybe we could just do that actually. Maybe we fit snug in there. What is that blurriness on the Bowser's camera? Yeah, maybe the camera here is slightly better. 1v1 kill there for the Viego. Yeah, this is a very dominant win here now for Rats. 10k gold lead. Brilliant gameplay from Rats. I mean, the only thing you could really fault is some of the Baus movement. I think he died a few times there without really getting his team anything. But here we are with the final fight. I mean, they're down Viego. It's a 4v5 struggle. What can they really do here? Rats would have to make an absolute disgusting mistake at this point in the game in order to lose this one. You got the 6 grubs as well, helping tank the turret. Looks like they've decided what Baus was considering going in there. Baiting here for a trap. Leona's going to get vision there with the oracles to see that they're over the wall. Nocturne ulti pulled, but I don't know if they'll fully commit here. Oh, that's a huge ulti to find the Viego. Viego goes on 5% HP, just about gets away. Ancient on Caitlyn getting really, really low there. Cassandra forced to fully commit. He just about gets out. They're using the fountain now to heal back up. Currently trying to hit this turret. The turret still lives. Rakan's actually going to get knocked down here, and TP have actually successfully defended their base. What did I say? TP just needed them to do a little bit of inting, and after what it looked like they were just going to be happy and just reset after they took the 2 inhibs. Giving one away there. They did get a lot of resources and flashes out of TP, and you got dragon spawning in 50 seconds. Looks like they're trying for another trap play in that bot side jungle. It's like the Oriana and the Nocturne. Can we get Pan over into mid? Are they trying to do something here? They're going to find the Leona. The Oriana ulti does a lot of that. That is an insane amount of damage to Leona. That's their one of their front lines. Not the front line. The Cassante would be the main front line, but that's their secondary front line. Getting absolutely melted there. You can see that Leona's got more armor than magic resistance. Which makes sense, really. There's only real 1 magic damage dealer on Rats. And that's going to be Cloud Soul given over to Rats. So now Rats just needs to find a way to end this game. They could do Baron here that's spawning in 30 seconds. Yeah, true, there are 25 stacks of Magi's on Oriana. I only just noticed that. Got a 10.5k gold lead. It's probably going to escalate even further if they're able to take this Baron. Shot down gold though across the entire team for Rats. You got 430, 670 and 700 gold. Looking for another trap play here in his top side. Baus is by himself. Crownie nearly face tricked against the Viego there, waiting in that brush. And Viego can see that they're doing Baron. He's going to have to make a good timing here to steal. Rats don't know that Viego's actually in the backside here. Nocturne ulti has been pulled, so all vision has been denied here for the Viego. Baron's still at 5k. It's not stealable. Got a little bit of a skirmish here with Nocturne and Rakan at the back with the Zayas. A little bit of a 3v3 going here. That's perfect situation here that you want for TP. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Caitlyn and Leona just fell over. Viego's going to fall down to the Zaya. The gold deficit is just way too high. It's the perfect kind of situation for TP, but well executed from TP, but the gold deficit is just too immense. So Cassante will fall down here for the ace. Yeah, and this is going to be the end. That Nexus is going to blow up. I feel like that setup was absolutely perfect then for TP. The Nocturne ulti denying vision was a little bit of an issue, but the bigger issue really is the 10k gold deficit. I feel like if that was very even on gold, then that camera, you know, Bass is finally adjusting it. I think he's got the Logitech Brio. I have the same issues as well. Sometimes it keeps putting the focus back on. But yeah, congratulations, Rav. We're going 2-0 so far. They need to win one more game in order to win this best of 5 and make it to the grand final. Meanwhile, TP need to go back to the drawing board. They need to get reverse sweep here. They need to win all of the next bunch of games here. I mean, everyone in Rats played flawlessly, apart from maybe Baus. But even some of Baus's deaths were good. But there was a lot of inting deaths, let's be real. This was a bit of a misplay here from the Viego, missing that flash stun. Makes it so that that fight is so extra delayed there. If it wasn't as delayed, then they get to use more resources on that Nocturne, and the Nocturne probably doesn't get away. Doesn't get time to clear out the wave. Meanwhile, here in the mid lane, Talia gets caught off from using the Herald. They know exactly where she's going to land, and that sets off the Nocturne Orianna ulti super nicely. And that's a big cleanup there. That was probably the fight that really solidified the game, and that's quite early on. And here we have a big team fight where Cassante kind of goes in. Nocturne ulti once again. It's just such a nuisance having to deal with that vision denial. Viego retreats, but Leona goes straight in. And then she tries to leave, but Orianna says, "Get over here." And here we have Caitlyn giving a nice little cupcake to Nocturne. Nocturne receives that cupcake. Cupcake, a little bit later on. And here's the final fight. A brilliant setup here, honestly, from TP. By this backline, though, you look at the back here with the Xayah. Xayah makes her way back over to make this a 3v3 in the river. Orianna just absolutely one-tapping people now with the combo with the Vi. The damage from Orianna and the Vi is just too immense on these squishy targets. And this fight's absolutely nothing for Rats. The gold deficit for TP is just way too high. Hey, that's nothing for the prem sub. Welcome to the berry bush. And you can see, look at the damage there. And Nemesis 36,000 to Talia's 12k. There was some slight potential there. You saw the look at the gold difference there early on. 10 minutes in, TP were in the lead with about what 700 to 1,000 gold. He had just like 1 or 2 kills on the Viego early on. It was looking maybe a potentially a little bit scary, but then once that 15-minute mark hit, Rats and that team fight in the mid lane, Rats never stopped. And this is looking up to be a pretty good performance here from Rats. This is probably the best performance that we've seen for them. Be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum going. Wonder what the draft is going to be from TP here, though. They tried not banning Baus and it mega punished them. They tried banning Baus and it... I mean, it worked in some ways. They managed to kill him 7 times, I think it was, or 8 times. 7 times? But, no, the rest of Rats stood up and played the game perfectly, honestly. Perfect performance from the 4 players there on Rats to kind of cover Baus's a little inting a little bit there. That's not to say that Baus has had a bad series. His first game was very, very good on that Gragas, so... Baus carried game number 1 by himself, really. And then you had the rest of the Rats saying, yeah, we should probably help out a little bit more. And they did that in game number 2. So yeah, we'll see how game number 3 is.